Hey everybody, how you doing? I've been doing so many lives with so many other people that I thought it was just time for me to just do a one-on-one live with everybody. Um, I'm just gonna wait a few minutes for a few more people to come on, and then I'm just gonna go a little more into it. Hello, hello, and hello, and hello, and another one. Oh yeah, beautiful. All right, well, let's begin. One of the main things and one of the main reasons that I actually wanted to do a live was because of all the things that have been happening recently. There's so much information that's going on from the media. If you're watching the news, any place that you actually turn, you will find some information on the coronavirus. And now, those of us who want to dig deeper and go down the rabbit hole, well, there's a lot of conspiracy things out there. There's a lot of other ideas. There's a lot of theories from the arrest of many to UFOs coming to whatever it is. But there's so much flood of information. But the one thing that I actually do want to focus on with other people is what is something that could be very helpful for all of us during this time. And that's something that I believe is the most important. And what it is us as humans to be human. You know, there's a lot of things that are going on with a lot of people. We don't know what they're feeling. We don't know their emotions. We don't know their anxiety. We don't know what really is happening in their lives. So this is the time where we need to take a moment and look at ourselves and reflect. Think about certain people that we've wanted to connect with. Think about situations that, well, somebody wronged me or I wronged somebody. And in these moments, take time to forgive. Not just forgive them, but forgive yourself, because this is the time that's so important. And reach out. It's like if you're a business owner, if you reach out to a lot of people, your clients, your customers, and say, hey, listen, in this time, is there anything that I can do? Like during this craziness, like how are you? Is there any way I can support you? Same with friends. During this craziness, what's going on? Is there any way I can support you? That's all we really need right now. It's for us to treat people like people, because this will end eventually. But how it ends and what we step into depends completely on us. So during this time, how do you want to live your life when you get out of quarantine? How do you want to live your life when you get out of this? What do you want to do about this? This is a very important time to reflect on a lot of these things. What kind of world do you choose, and what kind of world do you want to live in? Well, that question's really up to you, isn't it? And this is why, with what's going on, a lot of the information that we're receiving, the most information that you can be receiving is the information that's going up in here. It's the information that you could be putting down on paper. It's the visualization of the world that you want to be in. It's touching base with yourself and seeing what's going on. It's really trying to figure out more of these key important things. Because right now, no matter what it may seem like, we were given a gift. We were given a gift to slow down. We were given a gift to refocus. We were given a gift to say, hey, listen, maybe certain things in our lives weren't working how we wanted them to. So what do we want to do now? How do we want to change this? What is something that I would like to see, like to become, and like to do in the future? Who do I want to be in the future with? Who do I want to surround myself with? These are the things that we need to start working on, start reflecting on, and start putting together in our lives, because they will make the gate, they will make the change, they will make us be who is that we want to be within the future. And for a lot of us, it will be scary, because for a lot of us, we've been so busy. And it's funny though, because like busy was the new age form of medication that numbed you from being present with yourself. It's like, it was the easiest word to say. It's like, well, what are you doing? Do you want to meet up next week? Oh no, I'm busy. Hey, do you have time for this? No, I'm busy. Uh, Let me know what your schedule is. Yeah, I've just been so busy. But busy is just another word to say what is a priority and what's not a priority in your life. Right now, what are you busy with? What are you doing? What do you want to be your priorities in your life? And the thing is, now that we have more time to really sit back and focus, this is where a lot of the demons are going to come up. A lot of things that you've been saying so busy for that a lot of us haven't been able to deal with. Now we're going to deal with it. Some of us stay super busy because we believe the busier we are, the more of our worth we get from that. If I'm busy, I'm worthy. And now that they're not, they question their worth. They question their value. They question who they are. Which brings me back to what I said at the beginning. Now is the time to reach out to people. Ask them how they are. Ask for support. Share your stories. Share how you're feeling. Share your worries. It's like during this time, I've been reaching out to a lot of people, people that have been super busy, and just been sharing with them my emotions and my feelings. Like, just the other day I'm talking to my friend, and, we're having this talk, and she's like, how are you doing? I'm like, oh man, I'm like a rainbow. And she's like, what do you mean you're like a rainbow? I'm like, well, I'm like a rainbow. Or I'm like every spectrum of the fucking emotions that you could ever imagine. Like I could start my day as like, oh, I'm yellow and I'm sunshine, and then I go like, oh, I'm so depressed, and then like I shoot up and I'm like, this is amazing, and I'm like, why is this happening? It's like, but at the end of the day, I am the spectrum of the rainbow, and I'm embracing it, I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it, I'm accepting it. These are the things to do, because we're all going to have emotions during this time, but our emotions are not who we are. Who we are what we decide to learn from our emotions. Who we are is what we decide to take from our emotions. Who we are is a choice that's constantly changing, that there's constant growth, there's constant ways to continue to shift this idea. It's the funny thing about this, well, not the funny thing, but one of the things that come with it is so many of us have been so attached to this label of I am a consultant, I am a healer, I am a businessman, I am whatever it is. Now that's gone for the time being. So what are you? What are you now? Without your job, what are you? Without the things that you're constantly doing every single day, who are you? And the reason I ask that is because these things your job doesn't define you. Doing things every day doesn't define you. But you know what does? Understanding yourself, learning about yourself. What are my values? What do I stand for? What do I want? What am I looking for in life? What am I trying to achieve? That's fine. And learning through the process. Learning to be responsive versus being reactive. Learning to understand that we're all going through so many things within our lives. And listen, like, there's some days where you show up and like it just doesn't work. But instead of having the self-talk of, oh, I'm stupid, I'm worthless, I can't do it, being like, embrace it, accept it, understand it, and be like, okay, what happened today? How do I feel like I didn't show up for myself? How do I feel like I didn't show up for the other people? What kind of things do I feel I was missing in this experience? And what kind of things do I feel like I need to work on for myself? And then from there, grow from it, learn from it. Because if we constantly go into the same idea of reactive, 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 then we actually don't end up coming up with the solution. We end up not actually solving our problem, and we actually start to train our brains to be this way. We train our brains to act in this way. But we don't train ourselves to learn from what's going on. Like, let's be honest here. I have so many days where I make mistakes. I have so many days where, I walk into a situation and I think it's going to go a certain way, but it doesn't. And it makes me think, it's just like, well, I've been doing this for my whole life. Like, if I can't do this right, then who am I? And then I take a break. And then I sit down and I'm like, who did I want to be in that situation? What did I try to create that situation? Why am I feeling these emotions? Why am I feeling this way? And then work for it. The key thing is, it's like that word of wanting to be perfect. It's not going to happen. You can't try to be something that you already are. And I'll say it again, you can't try to be something that you already are. Like, you already are perfect. You already are yourself. You already are these amazing things. But when we try to become something, it's like, oh, I need to, it's like, take a moment, understand what you already are. Understand the things that you feel inside. Understand that you are super amazing, connected, wonderful, and all these great things. And go from that focal point. But also make sure to reflect and to visualize and to ask the questions and to check in with yourself. It's especially in moments like this and times like this, it's routine is super important. When you wake up in the morning, what are you doing with your mind? How are you asking yourself the questions? How are you creating scenarios throughout the whole day? And if anybody's listening and they want to know different ways of doing this, I'd be more than happy to. Let me share with you my routine. First thing I do before I touch anything in the morning is I sit up, breathe, and I meditate. And I don't care how long my meditation is. It could be 5 minutes. It could be half an hour. It could be an hour. It could be a minute. I let my body tell me how long it needs to go for meditation. Then I stop and I say what I'm grateful for. I wish everything for myself, for my friends and families, and for everybody. And I hope that they have abundance and health and happiness, and may they forgive and be forgiven and forgive themselves, because we're constantly going to make problems. We're constantly going to run into issues, and what they are just things for us to learn, to grow from, and to better get to the places that we're trying to get to. And then after that, I write. I set out my day. Write a message to yourself today. Who is it that you'd like? How would you like to show up for yourself today? How would you like to show up for other people today? What is a situation that will get you angry, frustrated, annoyed, or challenge you? And how do you best want to handle something like that? The reason I do that is to prime the brain, to prime the situation. So I know that it will happen. It will happen. And if it doesn't happen, cool, I was prepared. And if it does happen, I was prepared. But the key thing is, and the reason that I ask, and these are just some of the questions, not all, but the reason that I ask these questions are because you can't train for a fight when you're already in a fight. It doesn't happen that way. The only time you could actually train for a fight or a battle or a situation is prior to that. That's where all the training comes. So when these situations happen, we gain the awareness of how to deal with them. So now that we have a lot more extra time to work on these things, to do these things, then think about situations that you've been getting into, that have been frustrating you, that have been making you question your worth, that have making you feel stressed out. And now let's break them down. Let's figure out what it is that was creating this. Let's figure out that when we get into these situations, what do we want to do? Who do we want to be? How do we want to handle it? And close your eyes and visualize. And once again, I'll say, close your eyes and visualize. The reason I say this is because your brain doesn't understand past, present, or future. It only understands now. It only understands what you show it. It only understands what it's feeling now. So when you close your eyes and you visualize, you're actually showing your brain a situation and it's already happening. So once again, you're training. You're putting in the work. And your brain's like, next time it gets into the situation, you're like, oh, I visualized it. Oh, I've already been here. The brain's like, okay, we know what to do with it. You understand what I mean? It's not like you're in a whole new world. It's not like you're dealing with something that you've never dealt with before. You have in here. So when it comes to these things, it's just like, yeah, we have a lot more time now, a lot more reflection. We don't know when we're going to get out. Things will probably get worse before they get better. But the most important thing is you. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? Ask yourself these questions. Right now is a great time to reach out to friends, have conversations, be open, give yourself permission to share. You give them, if you do so, you give them permission to share. Right now is just one of the best times to be alive. Right now is one of the best times for us to really make a difference in this world. Right now is the best time for us to make a difference in us, in our world. To start to live the life that we want to start to become the person that we know that we can be. And the only person that can do this right now is you and me. So here we are. And here we will be for the next little bit. So as you're going through this, and you're going through these changes and these shifts and what's going on, and you have to deal with it, and trust me, as I said before at the beginning, the spectrum of the rainbow is going to come up. You're going to be happy, you're going to be sad, you're going to be depressed, you're going to be angry, you're going to feel overwhelmed with joy, and then a lot of these things are going to happen. Understand that that's okay. That's okay. That these aren't trying to drown you, hurt you, or harm you in any way. Things are coming up. Sometimes we just have to sit with them and honor them. That's the reason I like meditation so much for myself, is because I sit in the theater of my own mind and I watch these things play. It's like I'm sitting there and I'm just like eating popcorn and I'm like, oh, look at that one. Oh, sadness. Oh, I feel alone. Let's go. And then it's like after the movie, I sit down and I'm just like, okay, Let's embrace this. Let's talk to it. What is it that was trying to teach me? Why is it that I'm feeling alone? What has shifted in my life? What has changed? It's questions, right? So that's why I wanted to do this IG Live. Just share some thoughts, some ideas, some emotions, some of the things that I've been hearing, some things that have been going on. And to anybody out there, if you have questions, if there's things that you want to talk about, DM me. You want to share moments? DM me. You're not sure what you want to do, or you're looking for some kind of opportunity? DM me. I might be able to help you. I might be able to send you towards somebody that can help you. But the key thing is that I do want everybody to know is you're not alone. None of you are. None of you are. There are people here that will support you. There are people here that will love you. There are people here that will help to make a difference. There are people here and everywhere. And if you question that, send me a message. I'll talk to you. Let's share. Let's grow. Let's create these communities. Let's make it so that when things change, at least we know that we're in a world that's very supportive. At least we know that we're in a world that we want to be in. At least we know that we have people in our world that will have our backs. So that's why I wanted to share this IG Live. I hope you all enjoyed it. Before I go, are there any questions from anybody here? Anything that they'd like to ask me before I move on? All right then. That was good. So I've touched on from the routines, I've touched on emotions, I've touched on feelings, I've touched on a whole bunch of other things. I think this is just a very quick, brief intro into a lot of this stuff. If there are other topics or things that you'd like for me to express or to share more, let me know and I'll do this. For that question, I am only this way because of people like you and the people I let in my life. And before then, because of that question, I'll just say it's just like, this is a very key time as well to start to think about the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Who's in your life right now? Why are they in your life right now? What is it that you want to achieve right now? Who are people in your life that are achieving these things? And if you don't know them, how can you start to get to know them? How can you start to make those connections? Who can you talk that might have these connections? Like right now, we're in like such a great time. The internet is everywhere. You can call it good, you can call it bad, you can call it whatever you choose to, but it's just a tool. Everything is just a tool. It's not good or bad. Everything is neutral. It's just our perspective of it and how we see it and how we choose to use it. So in the next few days, months, how do you choose to use it? And how do you want to use it? What kind of differences do you want to make? Because right now it's as if we've been stripped away from everything, which means now we have a time to start all over again. No excuses, no distractions, just us learning, growing, understanding, and moving closer towards what we truly want. And if we don't know, ask. And if we're confused, ask. But I guarantee you, you will not find the answer to something if you do not and are not willing to at least start by asking a question. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate this all. And know once again that if any time this saying of we are all one has ever been true, it is now, because we are all one. We are all connected, and we are all in this together. And I want you to remember that. So from me to you, have a beautiful day, take care, and all the best.